Okay, now I feel crazy. By you being in it with me, we can prove the theory right. That like if you're in your purpose, you will be led to your life of maximum fulfillment. You'll be able to live your life of maximum fulfillment. Yes, this is for you if you have experienced depression, if you have experienced anxiety, if you feel lost. Like, what am I doing here? I feel so crazy. Wow. Yo, it's your girl Janine Seiji. Welcome back to my world where we are documenting the process of going from zero to hero to live a life of maximum fulfillment. Usually this is the part where I say more on that later, but today is later. We're gonna get into it today, so let's get into it. Okay. All right, so I know that I said we were gonna get into it, but before we get into it, 3 quick announcements. Announcement number 1 is that I'm a little bit nervous, so if I'm a little awkward, then you understand why. A little bit nervous, but God said it was time to do this. God actually told me to do this like months ago, but we here now, so we're doing it. Announcement number 2 is that part of what God said was that I need to stop relying on editing so much, right? And specifically, I had prayed, this is months ago, back when I was actually trying to grow on TikTok so that I could bring everyone from TikTok here to YouTube. Anyway, I was really deep in content creation, and we're kind of starting this story in Medea's Rest because this is like part of the larger story that we're gonna talk about today. But anyway, I was deep in content creation. I was like, oh, I'm about to grow on TikTok. I'm about to blow up on a TikTok. And then I was like, wait, I'm like getting burnt out. And also this is a lot of work. And this is like, I'm basically running a whole production company. I edit, I do everything by myself. Like the creative direction is me, the filming is me, the scripting is me, even though I don't really script, I go off the top, which is what I'm doing right now. What else was me? The editing is me, the post is me. So I was like, God, okay, I know this is what you want me to do, but how am I gonna grow if I'm not posting or creating at volume? Like meaning being able to post multiple times a day because I'm literally creating, you know, like it takes the process takes a long time. And so I prayed that and I was like, God, what can I do to make this faster, right? And God was like, why are you editing so much? And I was like, you're right. So anyway, we'll come back to that story later, but I basically told you that now so that you know that I'm really not gonna edit this video. So I know that if you've been seeing my stuff, then you're used to like tons of edits, all the moving, all that's gonna be me today. So yeah, if you watch for that, then this might not be the video for you, is all I'm saying. And then number 3, I actually don't remember what announcement, oh, I do remember what announcement number 3 is. Announcement number 3 is that this video is part of a series that I'm doing called Monetize in March 2023. It is March 16th. And this is what the numbers is at. So yeah, basically I'm putting this out there because if you see this and if it resonates with you, once we actually get out of this announcement piece, I'm asking you to share it. I'm asking you to like it. I'm asking you to comment it. I'm asking you to subscribe because I am in a very specific process that I'm documenting. Again, we're gonna talk about this later. And I'm testing something. I'm testing a theory. It's something that I really believe. And basically, if we get I'm saying we because it's really gonna be a group effort because yeah, wow. This is a lot harder than I thought. We're gonna keep going through it. It's gonna get better. It's only day 1, so it's whatever. But anyway, if we can get monetized, then it proves the theory correct, which, why is that important for you? That's important for you because, and now we're gonna get into the video, Life of Maximum Fulfillment. Here we are. It's important for you because the reason why I'm here, the reason why I have a presence on social media or why I've like really just dove into this head first, literally feet first, which is why I kept being like, oh, we'll talk about this later. And now here we are, right? After I've made like tons of videos and never talked about what this life of maximum fulfillment was about, right? So the reason why it's important is because I'm really here to make sure that you're walking in your purpose, that you're doing your purpose's work. And yeah, but I think sometimes it's hard to say like, okay, I'm gonna do the thing that's in my heart, the thing that I know, I just know I'm supposed to do it. right? Like God told me, or I've seen signs, or I've always just felt inside that I am this person, or I'm supposed to be this person in the world. I think a lot of times we get nervous about actually doing it because really we don't see that many examples of people in the process. A lot of times we see people in their purpose fully, right? Like once they've arrived, we see the Issa Raes. I'm trying to think of people that are like super. Anyway, we'll use Issa Rae because she's rooting for me apparently. Issa Rae, right? We've seen, and this is not a critique on Issa Rae. I'm just trying to explain like sometimes what I feel like is the disconnect for us to really go after our dreams and like be in our purpose, right? We see Issa Rae at the end and we're like, wow, she's so amazing. Like she did it. But for me, I know personally, I've always been like, how did she go from wherever she was before? I had no idea who she was, right? To where she is now, right? And it's not even about fame. It's about what she created, right? Which then, you know, fame was a byproduct of that. But a lot of what she created was clearly part of her purpose's work, right? It was definitely her purpose's work. You can tell that's again, the reason why purpose is so important is because that's where you can live your biggest life. That's where you start to be able to like reach your full potential, right? Because you're in your purpose. And we're gonna talk about that more. But anyway, back to the point that I was saying, the reason why I'm really asking you to like take this journey with me and come along with me, and I'm basically promoting myself, is because there's someone that needs to see this, that needs to know that you can go after your purpose, as scary as it can be. Because a lot of times the fear is around survival. It's like, okay, but if I do this, I don't even know how people make money doing this. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that someone may feel, this is what I'm supposed to do. And so, yeah, the message needs to get out there. We need to get it seen. But more specifically, I'm trying to do it in a way where I'm showing you the day-to-day. We're having these heart-to-hearts. That's what I'm calling these heart-to-hearts. We're having these heart-to-hearts so you can kind of get inside my head and into my thought process of how I'm getting through like the scary phase and how I'm surviving day to day while really just trying to chase this dream, right? And how I'm making it a reality. And so by you being in it with me, we can like prove we can prove the theory right, that like if you're in your purpose, you will be led to your life of maximum fulfillment. You'll be able to live your life of maximum fulfillment. Now that we're at life of maximum fulfillment, let's actually talk about it. Okay, so your life of maximum fulfillment, what is that? Some people call it the life of your dreams, XYZ, whatever. I've chosen to call it your life of maximum fulfillment because what I've noticed in this day and age, especially among millennials like myself, and I don't know, Gen Z, y'all different. Gen Z, I don't really seem to have this issue, but definitely millennials. A lot of millennials be depressed, be anxious, have a lot of issues, right? And a lot of it stems from the fact that I think a lot of millennials really don't feel fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? In their day-to-day life, the things that they're doing every day, their work, which takes up literally probably 75% of your life is taken up by work, right? And you're not fulfilled by the work that you're doing. And I think that part of it is because we didn't really grow up in a time where people were like, go after your dreams. Or people would say like, you can be anything you want, but make sure that you can pay your bills. So anything you want really gets narrowed down to like, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be an investment banker, you could be, what else is there? A doctor, lawyer, investment banker, engineer, right? Anything that we know is, you know, financially secure, it's gonna keep you stable or whatever, but mentally people don't be stable because they're not fulfilled, right? So I think the key to that key to fulfillment, that key to being able to better manage, cope, or even overcome depression, anxiety, things like that, is being in your purpose. And if we go deeper into that, what does it mean to be in your purpose, right? So being in your purpose means that you're doing the thing that God or whatever you believe in puts you here to do, right? Your reason for being, your reason for breathing, walking around, right? Like we all are here for a reason. I mean, I believe that. I think a lot of people believe that. I think a lot of times we're not really clear on what the reason is, right? I know that was definitely the case for me. And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna get real close. This is a heart to heart, but this is like the opener. So I'm just we're getting a starting point here so that we can build off of. So what was I saying again? This is why I like to edit, because I can cut these pieces out, but I think this is like more realistic, right? This is like, you know, if we're on FaceTime, which is really the goal, for us to be on FaceTime. Anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, it's a thing that you were put here to do, your purpose, right? A lot of times, not even a lot of times, your purpose is gonna actually require that you use your greatest gifts. So the things you don't think about, but you just naturally good at for whatever reason, right? Those are your gifts. Those are your giftings. They're unique to you, and they're also directly related to you being able to fulfill this purpose, because you're going to use those gifts to do the work or whatever it is your purpose is, right? Whatever's required for your purpose. And then, so those are the two things, right? Well, one, you got to find your purpose. That's we're going to do a find your purpose challenge later on, but I just want to, like I said, I'm also working on the nervousness right now, but yeah, I'm just going to pause real quick. This part I'm going to edit out for sure. Yeah. So where were we? Okay. Purpose is the reason for you being here. How do you fulfill your purpose? Using your greatest gifts, right? And then what's the benefit of doing it? Well, one, fulfillment, because you're not just here going through the motions. You know, you have a reason to get up every day. Like, you know what your mission is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know why you're here living and breathing, right? So it allows you to be fulfilled in that sense, in terms of like your selfhood, but also it allows you to be fulfilled in terms of like your desires, right? So that's a whole other level. And that's when we start getting into like the full life of maximum fulfillment. Your life of maximum fulfillment is a combination of, well, it's not even a combination. It's really, yeah, it's like a combination of your desires, right? Like being able to see your desires. But all of that comes from being in your purpose. I'm sorry if this is redundant. I'm really trying to get this out. I didn't write nothing down. I like to do it off the top so it could feel like, you know, we speaking in real time, because we are. So I keep checking my mic just to make sure that it's in the right place, because if this audio ain't good, it's gonna be a problem. Okay, so I'm gonna leave you with that because I don't want to keep rambling on, but here are the takeaways. One, I'm here to make sure that you get into your purpose and stop being scared, stop worrying about how you gonna do this, how you gonna do that, because I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. We're gonna talk about like the things that come up and how we're gonna overcome those things that come up. And if you don't know, you may be in the place where you don't know. Like I said, we'll work on like a find your purpose challenge. I'm gonna be sharing stories with you about like how I found my purpose, like my process in walking in my purpose. But what the process that I'm in right now is getting to that life of maximum fulfillment. And so those two topics I want to talk about with you and tell you stories. Because I feel like that's the best way to like to teach is like through stories, because people remember. You'll be able to remember, and you'll probably be able to relate too, right? So who is this video for? This is a video for someone who, yeah, is dealing with depression, who's dealing with anxiety. Because I remember when I was dealing with depression, I really just couldn't figure out like what the point of my life was. You know what I'm saying? So that was the source of depression for me. And so once I was able to really like identify that, it immediately like lifted the depression, the aspects of depression that keep you from being able to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't get out of bed. You might be led into like suicidal ideation, which was also an experience that I had. But I think once you realize that like, oh no, I'm here for a reason, it changes everything, right? That perspective alone will start to like help you to alleviate the depression, anxiety too, because so if you're someone that deals with anxiety, something that I've noticed like in my experience is that anxiety is really like it's a messenger, right? And like in the technical sense, anxiety is something that basically turns on your fight or flight response, right? Because it's a sense of danger, right? So a lot of time, and so like, it's like for example, like the example that they always give is like, let's say a lion is chasing you, your fight or flight turns on, right? Like, so like your adrenaline is whatever, so that you can get away and you don't get eaten by the lion. Most of us aren't going to be ever in that situation, but it's not that we don't experience anxiety or we don't experience that fight or flight turning on. And a lot of that is because it's a signal, right? You could be in this room right now chilling, and then all of a sudden you're feeling all this anxiety, and maybe you're not chilling. Maybe you're working on your computer, you're doing a little 9 to 5. And then you're feeling like all this extra, or maybe like this extra anxiety, or maybe it's like before you go to work or whatever the case might be. And usually it's a signal of danger, and that signal of danger is not like, okay, something bad's gonna happen to you, but it's almost to reroute you. It's like the rerouting part in a GPS. Wow. Yeah, it's like the rerouting in a GPS, and it's basically trying to tell you like, hey, this isn't the right way, or like maybe try something different. This doesn't work for you. Sometimes it can be, anxiety can be a lot of different things, but in my experience, that's what I've noticed. Like anytime I felt anxious in certain situations, it was because I really didn't need to be in that situation, right? So anyway, yes, this is for you. If you have experienced depression, if you have experienced anxiety, if you feel lost, like what am I doing here? Really that person, the person that feels lost, what I'm doing here. If you're interested in, let's say you do know your purpose, this is also for you. If you're interested in seeing someone go from, you know, not fully being in their purpose to fully being in their purpose, like what it actually looks like before they've made it to that life of maximum fulfillment. So yeah, that's who this is for. And I think the last takeaway point is that I'll do 2. Takeaway number 1 is that the life of maximum fulfillment, like I said, is a combination of your desires, right? So it's the things that you just like want in your life, which is a little bit different than like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing in life, which is the purpose part. But it's like the other parts that add to the enjoyment of your life. So purpose, it just gives you that oomph to keep going, to like live this life, right? And a lot of times like you'll experience satisfaction from it, but then there's other parts too of your life that just like really enhance that satisfaction so that you can get to that place of like ultimate well-being, right? Like just feeling 100 all the time. Not all the time. I mean, we're human, right? So like every day isn't gonna be perfect, but sometimes like one of my closest friends, Brittany, she would always say, yeah, I'm just trying to have more good days than bad days. So like if a span of a week is 7 days, I want to have 4 good days. I want to have at least 4 good days. And then if you compound that for your life, I mean, you basically living the best life for most of your life. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Reflections. I think my personal reflection is that this was a lot harder than I thought. I probably made it harder on myself. I'm also keeping in mind though that this is the first one and that they're gonna get better, so I don't have to stress about it. I'm really excited that you're here in it with me. That like makes it, it makes it more worthwhile, because you'll be able to see the progression, and we'll be able to talk about the progression and talk about like the different things that I'm gonna be doing to really bring this to life. Because the other reason I wanted to do these heart to hearts is because there's a lot of times where I get these downloads, like these messages, and I'm like, okay, like, and really is God like telling me things, or like, you know, sending me information. I'm like, okay, God, but like, what you want me to do with this? And I'm pretty sure that God wants me to be sharing it with you. Like there are things that are really helpful for me to keep in mind and to remember as I walk this path. But I also am starting to realize like, oh no, this is actually for you. So yeah. Also, my friends can stop yelling at me for not making these videos. So we started Is it the best thing in the world? Maybe not, but the whole point is that we keep going. We're gonna be doing it together, and it's gonna get better.
So that's all I have. I can check this off of my to-do list for the day, and yeah, bye.
Okay, that was definitely the scariest thing I've ever done. And I feel like it was all over the place, but whoever it's for, they gonna receive it. They gonna understand it. If it was all over the place, I apologize. But hopefully you were able to follow or get something from it. If you were, definitely subscribe. If you're just curious to see how all of this comes together, subscribe. Okay, yeah, I'm really gonna go now because now I need to actually upload it like how God said, without editing. And I know I'm gonna have I'm gonna have a crazy urge to edit, but I'm not going to, because we're staying, what's the word I'm looking for? We're staying committed. We're staying in integrity to what we were told to do. So, okay, I'm really gonna get off your line now. Goodbye.